Welcome back, folks. My name is LastKnownMeal, and today we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077 expansions. Now, I do apologize for not uploading for the past couple of days. I was busy with other work stuff, but I solved that, so now I can focus on uploading videos every single day. So first off, when it comes to the Cyberpunk 2077 expansions, ever since The Witcher was announced and ever since CDPR wrote expansion, there has been a lot of questions and just comments from people asking me, and both on Twitter and everywhere else, if we're only getting one expansion or if we are actually getting more expansions for Cyberpunk 2077. So I'm going to tell you some of the things which I know. Keep in mind, it's not much, but at least it can confirm us that no, we're not getting only one expansion, because that would be extremely stupid. What CDPR has meant with working on the expansion is that they meant on the next expansion which is coming out, or well, the first Cyberpunk 2077 expansion, which is right now set to release at the end of 2022. Keep in mind, there is a strong possibility, knowing CD Projekt Red, that this project is going to be delayed until, I don't know, maybe a first quarter of 2023. That's just my opinion. Keep in mind, as of right now, the expansion is still coming out by the end of 2022 with the current release window. But of course, because all of these things were happening and now CDPR has switched to Unreal Engine 5 for the next Witcher game, people are like, so is this now going to make, them ditch the software, the Red Engine? So what does this mean for Cyberpunk? Honestly, it means nothing special for Cyberpunk. They will still continue to make everything for that game in Red Engine. Switching Cyberpunk from Red Engine to Unreal Engine 5 would be a colossal task to do, especially because they're not even from the same family of engines. It would be easier if you actually had Cyberpunk 2077 in Unreal Engine 4. It would be a lot easier to switch it to Unreal Engine 5, but because you have two different engines, one is the in-house one, the other one is from Epic, it's not going to work. So they will need to have considerable amounts of work and time, which is not really something that they are going to ever do, if you ask me. But of course, for later on, it's understandable they use Unreal Engine 5 because Red Engine was just causing a lot of issues. But of course, this does mean that everything else when it comes to Cyberpunk 2077 will be supported through Red Engine, which does mean the expansions. So my kind of idea is, and from what I know, is that there are going to be two expansions so far. And by kind of my opinion, I think we're only getting two expansions for this game, and there's a few reasons for that. Well, first of all, creating an expansion for Cyberpunk 2077 does require some decent resources, which does mean you will need to have a decent amount of developers working on that, because it's not going to be an easy task, especially because you have to do everything else. You have to record voiceovers and basically everything, like you're making a whole new game. It's a little bit easier, but at the same time it requires a lot of time. So of course, I wouldn't expect more than two expansions, because they also have to focus on making the next Witcher game. That's not going to be easy to do. Right now they don't have the full capacity of their company working on the next Witcher, because you still have people who are updating Cyberpunk 2077, who are working on the first expansion, and therefore the second expansion, which I think is going to be the end when it comes to Cyberpunk 2077 expansions. Because if they only release one expansion for this game, it's going to be bad. I don't know, in my opinion, that's going to leave a bad taste in the mouth if there is only one expansion, especially depending on the size of that expansion. Now, knowing CD Projekt, I am pretty sure that the first expansion for this game is going to be smaller in just size, because if we take a look at Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, those are two different beasts. Blood and Wine is a whole different region, while, Hearts of Stone gives you a lot, but it's still not like the new region of the game, but more of an extended of the original map. So of course, you have to take into account, they spent a lot of time working on these updates, and they're still updating the game. If you go to SteamDB, they're still actually updating depots, so that does mean that there is a next hotfix coming, not a new big patch, just hotfix. So of course, you would need time to also work on the first expansion. So I don't expect anything huge from the first one. I kinda expect that the first expansion for Cyberpunk is going to be in the map that we have. I might be wrong, it might be Crystal Palace or something else, but if they are going to do Crystal Palace, I would most likely leave it for the second expansion, just because they will have more time to work on it. Because, you know, creating a moon or maybe the Crystal Palace, that's going to take a lot of time, even though I don't think that's happening with the first one. Because keep in mind, CDPR has been going through a big reformat or the reorganization of the company through the past year. Because what they were doing just wasn't working, so they had to switch how they do development generally. So again, we're gonna have years until the next Witcher game comes out. So to cut time until that happens, you will most likely have 2 expansions. 3 would be a stretch, but 2 expansions would be okay when it comes to this game. Because as soon as you're done with that, you have to switch all of your developers, or well, leave some who are going to maybe do some final patches for Cyberpunk once eventually that happens, but you still have to get the majority of people, especially like the seniors in the company, like the senior developers and senior designers and writers and whatever, they will need to be eventually moved to the development of The Witcher. So those things are slowly going to be transitioning to that, because also keep in mind, there is going to be the new Molasses Flood game, which should come out, in my opinion, somewhere between you know, Cyberpunk 2077 and obviously the next Witcher game. So we also have that, which is coming out. So no, I wouldn't worry that they're doing only 1 expansion. They're gonna be doing 2 because it's only logical, and what they wrote here is just meant for that expansion which is upcoming. And people have been trying so hard to tell me it's only going to be 1 expansion. It's not going to be only 1 expansion. There is going to be more, at least 1 more after that. Now 2 are alright. 3, that would be kinda, now that 3 expansions, that would be imagination, honestly, because no, there is no way they're doing it. It's gonna just take them out more time, because keep in mind, the first expansion coming out at the end of this year, maybe even the start of the next one, and then you have to take into account at least 1.5 years until the second expansion comes out, so that's like 3 years already. That's a big amount of time, so of course 2 are kind of a sweet spot, which I think they're gonna go for. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Tomorrow I have a big Cyberpunk 2077 mod video coming out, so that's going to be exciting. I've been working on that for a good few days, so it's definitely going to be one of my bigger videos this year, and hopefully enjoy it. But until tomorrow, stay tuned for the more, you know, content, and also tell me down below, what do you think about all of this, and how do you think like the expansions are going to be, and where do you think those expansions are going to be set? Okay, this is LKM signing out. This is everything for today. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Discord if you want to continue a discussion there with our community. And also huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.